Good morning, everyone, and a pleasant welcome to all students of TSMS for the chemistry webinar. And dear children, it's a time for 16th group elements. Mrs. Madhavi, PGT Chemistry, TSMS Pudu has taught you two lessons in 16th group elements, isn't it? So in the two sessions, ma'am has taught you regarding the periodic trends, like how the periodic trends changes in the group. That is a chalcogens family, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, and the new element livermonium. And in today's session, ma'am is going to deal with the ozonolysis and then tailing of mercury. Dear children, isn't it interesting to know about the tailing of mercury? See, what is this tailing of mercury? What happens when mercury is treated with ozone? Right? See, you all know that mercury is the liquid metal, isn't it? And then coming to the manufacturing of sulfuric acid by contact process. So you will get this question for your IPE for 8 marks, children. So I think everyone is ready with your pen and book. So let's start the session, and I would like to invite Mrs. Madhavi. Good morning, Madhavi ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Today, which topics you are going to explain, ma'am?
Ma'am, sulfur dioxide and sulfuric acid. Next,
Okay.
some chemical properties of ozone. So, very important
Okay.
session, ma'am, for
Okay.
examination point of view.
Okay. Dear children, in our last session, I have told you regarding the questions, how they will ask the split for 8 marks, isn't it? See, sometimes you may be asked to write the oxidation properties of ozone along with some other question which is in 15th group elements and 17th group elements. See, like that, you will get different questions from different families. So let's get ready for the session by Madhavi ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, please disable the.
Now I think it's okay, ma'am.
Okay. No, ma'am.
Okay. Now you can do, ma'am.
Madam,
Now you
please
can
do.
share the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to third session on 16 group elements. So intermediate second year, so which is sixth chapter in your syllabus, children. Now let us see what are the subtopics that we have covered in the last session. Let us see dioxygen. So it's a preparation. What is dioxygen? O2. So it's a preparation. In that we have seen laboratory method and industrial methods also we have seen. Next, properties, chemical properties of dioxygen. In that, so maximum oxygen can able to dioxygen can able to react with all the elements present in the periodic table, except noble metals and some noble gases, right? So next, uses of dioxygen we have seen. Next, simple oxides. Simple oxides means in that. Acidic oxides, basic oxides, and amphoteric oxides, neutral oxides we have seen. Next, after that, ozone preparation, O3, one of the allotropic form of oxygen, that is ozone. So O3, it's a preparation and the properties we have seen. The structure of ozone molecule, bent structure, and its resonance structures also we have seen. Uses of ozone we have discussed. So today we are going to discuss some more chemical properties of ozone because it is very important for your examination point of view. Now let us have a look of mm, today's topics. So chemical properties of ozone, sulfur allotropic forms, sulfur dioxide, preparation, sulfur dioxide preparation properties and structure of sulfur dioxide molecule and its uses. We'll discuss next oxoacids of sulfur. In that, sulfuric acid preparation properties and uses, very important. So this is you will get 8 mark. In 8 mark question, part by part you will get. So let us start today's session by chemical properties of ozone. So already we have discussed, children, some chemical properties. We know that ozone decomposes to give nascent oxygen, so that's why ozone acts as a oxidizing agent. It oxidizes sulfide to sulfate. You can see here lead sulfide. When lead sulfide, when it is reacts with O3, it gives lead sulfate. So children, here if you see what is the oxidation state of a sulfur, here the oxidation state of sulfur is -2. So when it reacts with O3, it gives lead sulfate plus oxygen. So lead sulfate, in lead sulfate, oxidation state of sulfur is +6. So -2 to +6, increase in oxidation number. So that's why O3 acts as a oxidizing agent. It oxidized sulfur, -2 oxidation state to +6 oxidation state, sulfide to sulfate. Next reaction, it oxidizes iodide ions to iodine. So see here, I minus, when it reacts with O3, then what happens, it converts into iodine, I2. So I minus plus H2O plus O3 is gives rise to 2OH minus plus I2 plus O2. So if you see oxidation state of iodide ion is -1, so when it reacts with the O3, it converted into I2. So in I2 iodine, what is the oxidation state? 0, because for elements oxidation state is 0, right? So -1 to 0, increase in oxidation number. So O3 is a oxidizing agent. It oxidized iodide ion to iodine, right? Next reaction is very, very important. Reaction of ozone with ethene. So we know that, children, ethene is C2H4. What is the formula of ethene? C2H4. So there is a double bond between carbon and carbon. You can see here CH2 double bond CH2. When this ethene, it is also called as ethylene. When it reacts with O3, an addition product is formed, which is called as adduct. So ethene ozonide or ethylene ozonide. See the structure of ethene ozonide or ethylene ozonide. So in place of a double bond, this O3 get a attached to CH2 like this. When this ethene ozonide is treated with zinc dust and water, then what happens, breaking of the bond will takes place like this. So see here, children, so bond will break like this, then we'll get CH2O, two molecules of CH2O. So CH2O can be written like this, HC double bond OH. So that is HCHO. HCHO means CHO, it is a aldehyde group, is it not? So aldehyde which is having one carbon is called as methanol or formaldehyde. Is it clear, children? So when ozone, it reacts with the ethene, that is C2H4, what happens, an additional product will get, that is called as ethene ozonide. In place of double bond, this O3 get attached in this manner. And when this ethene ozonide is treated with zinc dust and H2O, so breaking of the bond will takes place like this, and we will get CH2O units. So CH2O can be written like this, HCHO, which is aldehyde, which is having one carbon, that is methanol, so which is called as a formaldehyde. Very, very important reactions. These reactions you have to practice all these reactions, children. Next, coming to metals like silver and mercury, when they react with ozone, they give their oxides. See, metals like silver and mercury, when they oxidize in presence of O3, they form, there are corresponding oxides. 2Az plus O3 is gives rise to Ag2O plus O2, because O3 it decomposes to give oxygen. So that nascent oxygen, it combines with silver and it gives oxide of silver, that is Ag2O. And similarly, mercury also, when it reacts with ozone, it gives Hg2O, right, children? So along with that, oxygen gas also released. So here one of the important thing you have to remember is, so if you see, this is water and this is mercury. So if you see, most of the liquids, they are having concave meniscus. when compared with mercury, mercury is having convex meniscus. So is it not? So in this figure you can easily see, children, so the difference between H2O and Hg. So mercury is having convex meniscus. When this ozone, when mercury reacts with ozone, what happens? This meniscus, it loses its meniscus, and it sticks to the container walls, right children? Due to the dissolution of Hg2O in Hg, mercury loses its meniscus and starts sticking to the sides of the glass. So that is called as a tailing of mercury. Is it clear? Mercury is having some meniscus. When it reacts with ozone, it forms Hg2O. So because of that, it loses its meniscus and it sticks to the sides of the container, right children? So that process is called as tailing of mercury. So we can able to regain its meniscus, but just simply shaking that with the water, so we can able to regain its meniscus. Is that clear children? Very very important. For 2 mark question also it can be asked. So what is the tailing of mercury? How can we get back the meniscus? So what you will write? So when mercury is having some meniscus, that is convex meniscus it is having. When it reacts with ozone, so it what happens? It forms Hg2O. So because of that, it loses its meniscus and it sticks to the sides of the glass. So that is called as the tailing of mercury. We can get back its meniscus by just simply shaking it with the water, so which dissolves Hg2O. Very important children. Okay, so you just go through this. Next one is sulfur allotropic forms. So till now we have discussed chemical properties of ozone. So ozone, it is an oxidizing agent. It oxidizes sulfide to sulfate, next iodide to iodine, and then it reacts with silver and mercury to form oxides, and it can able to react with ethene and it form ozonide, right children? Next, coming to the allotropic forms of sulfur. So first of all, what is allotropy? Allotropy is nothing but it is existing an element in more than one physical form is called as allotropy. Sulfur is having many allotropic forms. In that, 2 allotropic forms are very very important. So those are rhombic sulfur, that is called as alpha sulfur. Okay, and another one is monoclinic sulfur, that is also called as beta sulfur. So these two allotropic forms are very important. Okay, one is rhombic sulfur and monoclinic sulfur. These are important allotropic forms of sulfur. You can see here. So this is rhombic sulfur and this is monoclinic sulfur. So the physical state is different, is it not? So the stable form, so out of this monoclinic and rhombic sulfur, so rhombic sulfur is more stable at room temperature, right children? So this rhombic sulfur can be converted into monoclinic sulfur by heating above to 369 Kelvin. If we heat the rhombic sulfur above 369 Kelvin, we can able to get monoclinic sulfur, right children? So again I'm repeating, sulfur is having 2 allotropic forms, important allotropic forms. So those are rhombic sulfur and monoclinic sulfur. So these are rhombic sulfur, this is rhombic sulfur and this is monoclinic sulfur. So out of this, rhombic sulfur is more stable at room temperature and monoclinic sulfur can be prepared from rhombic sulfur by heating 369 Kelvin, heating above it 369 Kelvin. Now see here, rhombic sulfur or alpha sulfur. So this is a yellow, a trope is yellow in color and its melting point is 385.8 Kelvin and specific gravity is 2.06, right? Rhombic sulfur crystals are formed on evaporating the solution of roll sulfur. So roll sulfur on evaporation in carbon disulfide, rhombic sulfur can be prepared, right? It is insoluble in water but dissolves to some extent in benzene, alcohol and ether, but it is readily soluble in carbon disulfide. So this is about rhombic sulfur children. It is in yellow in color and its melting point is 385.8 Kelvin and its specific gravity is 2.06 and It can be prepared by evaporating roll sulfur in carbon disulfide, and it is insoluble in water, and somewhat it soluble in benzene, alcohol, and either, but it is readily soluble in carbon disulfide. Next, monoclinic sulfur melting point. So these are the crystals of monoclinic sulfur. It is also called as beta sulfur. So its melting point is 393 Kelvin, and specific gravity is 1.98. It is soluble in like rhombic sulfur. It is also soluble in carbon disulfide, children. And rhombic sulfur and monoclinic sulfur have S8 molecules. S8 molecules means 8 sulfur atoms grouped together to form S8 molecules, right? These S8 molecules are packed to give different crystal structures. You can see here, children. So a S8 ring in both the forms is puckered and has a crown shape. So this is the crown shape, S8 molecule, so which is having a puckered structure, crown structure. Similarly, S6. So it means S6 means which is having the six sulfur atoms. So it is having the chair form. You can see here. So this is having chair form. This is crown form. S8 is having crown form, and S6 is having chair form, right, children? So this is about allotropic form of sulfur. Now coming to sulfur dioxide. So what is the formula for sulfur dioxide? SO2. Now let us see the preparation of sulfur dioxide. So sulfur dioxide can be prepared by simply heating sulfur in the presence of air or oxygen. So along with the sulfur dioxide, little sulfur trioxide, that is SO3, will also form. Okay, so sulfur, what is the first method for the preparation of sulfur dioxide? Sulfur dioxide can be prepared just simply heating the sulfur in presence of air or oxygen. Sulfur dioxide can be prepared. S plus O2 is gives rise to SO2. Okay, so along with the SO2, little quantity of that is 6 to 8% sulfur trioxide is also formed. Next method, in the laboratory, it is readily prepared by treating a sulfite with dilute sulfuric acid. When sulfite, sodium sulfate or potassium sulfate, whatever the sulfite, when sulfite is treated with sulfuric acid, you know that sulfuric acid, it provides H plus ions, SO3 2 minus sulfite plus sulfuric acid, it gives H plus. When they react, then it gives sulfur dioxide along with water, right, children? So this is the second method for the preparation of sulfur dioxide. Next one, third method, industrially it can be prepared, means it obtained as a byproduct of roasting of sulfide ores. So all sulfide ores, what is roasting? Roasting is nothing but heating an ore in presence of oxygen is called as roasting. So sulfide ores on roasting gives, means reacting with oxygen, they give sulfur dioxide. For example, iron sulfide, when it is treated with oxygen, when it is burned in presence of oxygen, it gives iron oxide, means Fe2O3, ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide. So industrially it obtained in the as a byproduct of roasting of sulfide ores. So these are the methods of preparation of sulfur dioxide. Now coming to the properties of sulfur dioxide. So sulfur dioxide is a colorless gas with pungent smell and is highly soluble in water. It is a colorless gas with pungent smell and highly soluble in water. It liquefies at room temperature under a pressure of 2 atmospheres. Even at room temperature also it can be liquefied, but we have to increase its pressure to 2 atmospheres and boils at 263 Kelvin, right, children? So sulfur dioxide when passed through water forms a solution of sulfurous acid, because sulfur dioxide highly soluble in water. So when it is soluble in water, it forms sulfurous acid, H2SO3. SO2 plus H2O is gives rise to H2SO3. Sulfur dioxide, when it dissolved in water, it gives sulfurous acid, right, children? Next one. So here it reacts readily with the sodium hydroxide solution, forming sodium sulfite. So when which then reacts with more sulfur dioxide to form sodium hydrogen sulfite. Okay, sulfur dioxide when it reacts with the sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium sulfite. So if you pass still after forming sulfite, sodium sulfite, if you pass some more sulfur dioxide, then what happens? You will get sodium hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so these reactions are similar with that of reactions of carbon dioxide, children. Is it not? Carbon dioxide also soluble in water and it forms carbonic acid. Similarly, sulfur dioxide also soluble in water and it forms sulfurous acid. And carbon dioxide also reacts with alkalis like sodium hydroxide. It forms sodium carbonate and sodium hydrogen carbonate. Like that only, sulfur dioxide, it is reacting with alkalis like sodium hydroxide and it is forming sodium sulfite and sodium hydrogen sulfide, because carbon dioxide is also having acidic nature and sulfur dioxide is also having acidic nature. So both oxides are having similar properties, is it not? In its reaction with water and alkalis, the behavior of sulfur dioxide is very similar to that of carbon dioxide, because both are acidic oxides. Is it clear? So next, coming to some more reactions of sulfur dioxide. So these reactions involve the presence of catalyst. Okay, so first let us see the reaction. Sulfur dioxide reacts with chlorine in the presence of a charcoal to give sulfuryl chloride. What is sulfuryl chloride? SO2Cl2, right? Sulfur dioxide when reacts with chlorine in presence of a charcoal. Here charcoal is a catalyst which increases the rate of the reaction. So it gives a sulfuryl chloride, that is nothing but SO2Cl2, right? Next, another reaction is it is oxidized to sulfur trioxide by oxygen in presence of vanadium oxide, vanadium pentoxide. Okay, so which is a catalyst. So children, so this reaction is very important. So one of the step in a contact process for the preparation of sulfuric acid, sulfur dioxide reacts with oxygen in presence of vanadium pentoxide V2O5 and it gives sulfur trioxide. Okay, so these two reactions are nothing but in the presence of a catalyst, they are giving different products. Okay, so sulfur dioxide when reacts with chlorine in presence of charcoal gives sulfuryl chloride, and sulfur dioxide in presence of vanadium pentoxide reacts with oxygen gives sulfur trioxide. Okay, so these are the chemical properties of sulfur dioxide. Next, next coming to the uses of some more properties of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent. Children, it means it reduces the species and it oxidizes itself. So see here, it converts iron 3 ions to iron 2 ions. So Fe3 plus. So Fe3 plus, when it means ferric ions, when they react with the sulfur dioxide, they converts into Fe2 plus. So Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus, so decrease in oxidation number, so reduction has been taken place. During that, sulfur dioxide is converted into sulfate. Means in sulfur dioxide, what is the oxidation state of sulfur? That is +4, whereas in case of SO4 2 minus, it is +6. So +4 to +6, so it oxidized itself, but it reduced the another species. So that's why sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent. It converts Fe2 plus ions to Fe3 plus ions to Fe2 plus ions. During that, it converts into sulfur dioxide to sulfate. Okay, next one, decolorizes the acidified potassium permanganate solution. So potassium permanganate, so KMnO4, in that we are considering only MnO4 minus ions, manganate ions. Sulfur dioxide when it reacts with potassium permanganate, it decolorizes. Potassium permanganate is having a purple color, so it decolorizes and it converts into converts MnO4 minus to Mn2 plus. In MnO4 minus, what is the oxidation state of manganese? That is +7. So it converts into +2, Mn2 plus. So +10, +7 to +2, so that is decrease in oxidation number. So that's why sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent. During that, it oxidizes itself. So +4 to +6 oxidation state. So sulfur dioxide to sulfate. Okay, so again I'm repeating, children, sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent. It reduces Fe3 plus ions to Fe2 plus ions and permanganate ions to Mn2 plus ions, right children? So like that, sulfur dioxide acts as a reducing agent. Now let us see the structure of a sulfur dioxide. It is having angular shape. So you can see here, this is the angular shape. This double bond between sulfur and oxygen, it delocalizes between these two oxygens. So you can see here, in this figure, in between the sulfur and oxygen, double bond is present. In this figure, the double bond is present between this sulfur and oxygen. So it means this double bond, it resonates between these two oxygens. So that's why it is having two resonance structures and one resonance hybrid. Okay. Next, coming to uses of sulfur dioxide. So it is used in refining petroleum and sugar, and in bleaching wool and silk, and as an anti-clor, disinfectant, and preservative. Sulfur dioxide can be used. Next, sulfuric acid. Preparation of sulfuric acid, sodium hydrogen sulfide, and calcium hydrogen sulfide. So sulfur dioxide can be used for the preparation of sulfuric acid, sodium hydrogen sulfide, and calcium hydrogen sulfide. So these are industrial chemicals. So most important industrial chemicals like sulfuric acid, sodium hydrogen sulfide, and calcium hydrogen sulfide. So these can be prepared from sulfur dioxide. Next, liquid sulfur dioxide is used as a solvent to dissolve a number of organic and inorganic chemicals. So this is the table, children. So flow chart. You by this you can remember the uses of sulfuric acid very easily. So refining of petroleum products. So sulfur dioxide is used for the refining of petroleum products, and in chemical industries, so like sulfuric acid can be prepared, sulfates and bisulfates can be prepared by using sulfur dioxide. Next, in sugar industry, means refining, for refining and decolorizing sugar, sulfur dioxide can be used as a disinfectant in hospitals. It is used, and as a solvent for a glue, means organic and inorganic substances can be dissolved in sulfur dioxide, liquid sulfur dioxide. Next, as a refrigerant, household refrigerator, sulfur dioxide can be used. For bleaching delicate articles, sulfur dioxide can be used. As a preservative for wines, meat, and dry fruits, this sulfur dioxide can be used. As a fumigant, bacteria, fungus in plants, sulfur dioxide can be used. Next, as an anti-chlor in bleaching by chlorine, sulfur dioxide used. So these are many uses of sulfur dioxide. So you go through this flow chart, children. Remember few uses of sulfur dioxide. Next, coming to oxo acids of sulfur. So sulfur, it can able to form number of oxo acids. So yes, like H2SO3, H2S2O3, H2S2O4, H2S2O5, H2SXO6. So in place of X, so this X from 2 to 5. And H2SO4, we are familiar with H2SO4, this oxo acid, sulfuric acid. H2S2O7, that is oleum, or pyrosulfuric acid, H2SO5, and H2S2O8. So these are some oxo acids of sulfur. So some oxo acids of sulfur structures are also given here. This is the structure of a sulfurous acid. That is, what is the formula of a sulfurous acid? H2SO3. So H2SO3 is having two OH groups, one double bond with oxygen. Sulfur is forming one double bond with oxygen. Similarly, sulfuric acid, if you consider sulfuric acid is also having two OH groups, and sulfur, it is forming two double bonds with two oxygens. This is the peroxo disulfuric acid. Why it is called as peroxo disulfuric acid? There is a single bond between oxygen and oxygen. You can see here, and two OH groups are there. So H2S2O8 is called as a peroxo disulfuric acid. So this is the structure. Next, coming to oleum, very important one, H2S2O7. So pyrosulfuric acid, it is also called as pyrosulfuric acid. So it is having in between sulfur and sulfur, there is oxygen, and each sulfur is forming two double bonds with two oxygens, and one OH group is attached with this sulfur. So these are the structures of oxo acids of sulfur, children. Now in that, most important oxo acids of sulfur is sulfuric acid. Very, very important. It is an important industrial chemical. So for your examination point of view also, sulfuric acid preparation is very, very important. So now let us see what is sulfuric acid. What is the formula for sulfuric acid? H2 SO4. Okay, H2SO4. Now this is the structure of a sulfuric acid. Now let us see the preparation of a sulfuric acid by contact process. So it involves main three steps. Very simple, children. So three steps. First one is burning of sulfur or sulfide ores in air to generate sulfur dioxide. First, what we have to prepare in the first step, we have to prepare sulfur dioxide. How we will prepare sulfur dioxide? Simply by heating sulfur or sulfide ores in the presence of oxygen or air gives sulfur dioxide, right? After getting sulfur dioxide, it has to convert into sulfur trioxide. How to convert sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide? By simply heating sulfur dioxide with oxygen in presence of vanadium pentoxide, V2O5, acts as a catalyst, right, children? So this is the second step. Now what is the third step? Just simply after formation of SO3, it is absorbed in H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. So it gives oleum, that is H2S2O7. So when oleum is formed, that oleum is dissolved in water, then we'll get sulfuric acid. So these are the three steps, very important steps for the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. Again, I'm repeating. First step, we have to prepare sulfur dioxide, but just simply heating sulfur or sulfide ores in presence of air or oxygen. And the second step is the preparation of sulfur trioxide from sulfur dioxide by heating sulfur dioxide in presence of oxygen, with the oxygen in presence of vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst, we'll get a sulfur trioxide. After forming sulfur trioxide, it is absorbed in sulfuric acid, we'll get oleum. So oleum on dissolving in water gives sulfuric acid. So these are the three steps for the preparation. Now let us see the reactions. So first step is preparation of sulfur dioxide. So when sulfur is heated in presence of oxygen gives sulfur dioxide, that is the first step. Second step is sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide. How we will get to sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide? Just simply sulfur dioxide, when it reacts with the oxygen and gives sulfur trioxide in presence of vanadium pentoxide. Next, third step, when sulfur trioxide formed in the second step, it is dissolved in H2SO4, gives sulfurous, oleum, that is H2S2O7, that is H2S2O7. Oleum will get, so this oleum is dissolved in water, gives sulfuric acid. So these are the three steps for the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. Now you can see the flow chart of contact process. So flow diagram of manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process, children. So this is the chamber in which sulfur is present along with air is passed. Here what happens, sulfur, it combines with oxygen, means it burns in presence of air and it forms sulfur dioxide. So the formed sulfur dioxide is impure because it is along with the sulfur dioxide, some impurities are also present. So this impure sulfur dioxide is passed to this chamber and water is sprayed. So what happens to some impurities? So it comes along with water, like dust and all, they come along with water, and then again that sulfur dioxide is passed, because now sulfur dioxide is in wet because it is sprayed with water. So that is passed through this chamber which is having a concentrated sulfuric acid. So concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent. Whatever the water molecules will be present, it absorbs, then we'll get a dry sulfur dioxide. Now this dry sulfur dioxide is passed through this chamber which is having a vanadium pentoxide. So it combines with the oxygen, sulfur dioxide plus oxygen in presence of vanadium pentoxide gives sulfur trioxide. So that sulfur trioxide is passed through this chamber which is having concentrated sulfuric acid. So when it combines with the concentrated sulfuric acid, oleum is formed, that is H2S2O7. So when oleum is dissolved in water gives sulfuric acid. So this is the method of preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. Very important, children. Now let us see the properties of sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid is a colorless, dense, oily liquid with a specific gravity of 1.84 at 298 Kelvin. Okay, so the acid freezes at means freezing point is 283 Kelvin and boils at 611 Kelvin. It dissolves in water with the evolution of a large quantity of heat. Means when it is dissolved in water, huge amount of heat is released. Means it is an exothermic process. So that's why we should be very careful to prepare dilute acid from concentrated acid. We should not add water to the concentrated acid because it spills out, okay, because of exothermic reaction. High large quantity of heat will be released, okay. So that's why what we have to add, we have to add drop by drop to water to prepare dilute acid. So what we have to add, we have to add concentrated sulfuric acid drop by drop to water to prepare dilute acid, right children? We should not add water to the concentrated acid. We have to add concentrated acid to water drop by drop, okay. Is that clear? Because so dissolution of acid in water is a exothermic process. Large amount of heat is released, okay. So next characteristics of sulfuric acid: low volatility, strong acidic character, and a strong affinity for water because it is highly soluble in water, ability to act as an oxidizing agent. So that's why because of these important characteristics, sulfuric acid is called as a king of acids, okay. So it is having low volatility, strong acidic character, strong affinity for water, and ability to act as an oxidizing agent. Sulfuric acid is a oxidizing agent. Now you can see in aqueous solution, sulfuric acid ionizes in two steps. So children, H2SO4, it is having 2H plus. We have seen the structure of sulfuric acid. With the sulfur, two OH groups are there. So those OH groups, they give two H plus ions. They dissociate to give two H plus ions. So that's why sulfuric acid is a dibasic acid. Okay. So you can see here, sulfuric acid in water gives H3O plus plus HSO4 minus. So what is the dissociation constant? It is very high, that is greater than 10. Okay, dissociation, first dissociation constant Ka1 is very high, that is greater than 1. Next, coming to after getting HSO4 minus, again it dissociate to give one more H plus ion, H3O plus plus SO4 2 minus. So Ka2 is the second dissociation constant. So Ka2 is 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So which is very less when compared with Ka1. Ka1 is far greater than Ka2 in dissociation of a sulfuric acid. So very important reasoning type of question for your competitive exams. So Ka1 dissociation constant, first dissociation constant is far greater than second dissociation constant in case of sulfuric acid, aqueous sulfuric acid. Why? So it has been asked like that. So what is your answer? Because H plus ion is obtaining from neutral H2SO4 here in first case. Whereas in the second dissociation, if you see, we have to get H plus ion from HSO4 minus, okay, negative charged ion. We have to get H plus ion from negatively charged ion. That's why this dissociation is less when compared with this dissociation. So this reaction occurs very quickly. That's why Ka1 is far greater than Ka2, because here we are obtaining H plus ion from neutral H2SO4, whereas in case of second case, we are getting H plus ion from HSO4 minus ion. So that's why Ka2 is less when compared with Ka1. So that is the reason, children. Next, coming to another reactions of a sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid, because of its low volatility, can be used to manufacture more volatile acids from their corresponding salts. From corresponding salts, we can able to prepare different acids. So if you see here, H2SO4 MX, so X may be FCl or NO3. Okay, so if it is F, you will get HF, that is hydrogen fluoride can be prepared. Okay, and hydrogen chloride can be prepared, and nitric acid also can be prepared by this reaction. That is 2MX plus H2SO4 gives 2HX plus M2SO4 salt. will get salt. Okay, so next one is concentrated sulfuric acid is strong dehydrating agent. Just now only we have discussed. So sulfuric acid, it absorbs water, it is a dehydrating agent. So charring of action of on carbohydrates, if you can see here, this is C12H22O11 sucrose. When it is treated with sulfuric acid, we'll get carbon plus 12 carbons plus 11 H2O. So because of the formation of carbon, because water molecules are absorbed by sulfuric acid, so we'll get the charring, means it increases like this, black substances, that is carbon, it increases like this. Okay, when sulfuric acid is added to sucrose, then what happens, carbon is formed because of the absorption of water, because sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid is a strong dehydrating agent. Next one, so hard concentrated sulfuric acid is moderately strong oxidizing agent. Both metals and non-metals are oxidized concentrated sulfuric acid, which is reduced to sulfur dioxide. So sulfuric acid is a strong oxidizing agent, whereas the sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent, but sulfuric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It can able to oxidize metals and non-metals also. For example, you can see here copper, when reacts with the sulfuric acid, it converts into copper sulfate plus sulfur dioxide plus H2O. So what is the oxidation of a copper? 0 is the oxidation state of copper. So in case of copper sulfate, oxidation state is +2. So 0 to +2, increase in oxidation state. So copper, it oxidized in presence of a sulfuric acid. During the oxidation, sulfuric acid converts into sulfur dioxide. Similarly, not only with the metals, even non-metals also it can able to oxidize. For example, sulfur, when reacts with the sulfuric acid, it converts into sulfur dioxide. In sulfur, what is the oxidation state? 0 is the oxidation state. For elements, oxidation state is 0. So sulfur to sulfur dioxide, so +4 oxidation state. Sulfur is having +4 oxidation state. 0 to +4, increase in oxidation number. Okay, next, similarly carbon, when reacts with the sulfuric acid, it converts into carbon dioxide plus sulfur dioxide plus H2O. So carbon, what is the oxidation state? It is an element, so oxidation state is 0. When reacted with sulfuric acid, it converted into carbon dioxide. What is the oxidation state of carbon here? +4 is the oxidation state. 0 to +4, increase in oxidation number. So sulfuric acid, it oxidized carbon to carbon dioxide. During that, it converted into sulfur dioxide. So these are the reactions of sulfuric acid. Now coming to the last topic, that is uses of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a very important industrial chemical. Sulfuric acid is used in the manufacture of fertilizers like ammonium sulfate and superphosphate. So for the preparation of fertilizers like ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, sulfuric acid is used. And other uses, it is used in petroleum refining and manufacture of pigments, paints, and dye stuff intermediates. Okay, sulfuric acid is used for the manufacture of fertilizers like ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, and it is used in petroleum industry for petroleum refining and manufacturing of pigments like pigments and paints and dye stuffs. Next, it is also used in the detergent industry and metallurgical applications like cleaning metals before enameling, electroplating, and galvanizing. Okay, before enameling, galvanizing, and electroplating, so metals can be metals can be cleansed, so that can be done with the help of sulfuric acid. So lead storage batteries, so storage batteries are used sulfuric acid is used in storage batteries also. Next, in the manufacture of nitrocellulose products like plastic items, fiber items, they can be prepared by using sulfuric acid. Next, as a laboratory reagent, sulfuric acid is a very important laboratory reagent. Okay, so these are the uses you can see by this figure. Okay, uses of sulfuric acid again, let us revise. For the manufacturing of detergents, manufacturing of pesticides, manufacturing of fertilizers, and manufacturing of paints, and manufacturing of synthetic fibers, sulfuric acid can be used, right? So these are the uses of sulfuric acids and the preparation of sulfuric acid and its chemical properties. Very, very important, children. Okay, so now some important questions, very important. See children, describe the manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process. Just now only we have discussed. Okay, very important. You go through this video and write down your notes and prepare well. Next, how is ozone prepared and how does ozone react with ethene and then with silver. Next, with the potassium iodide, mercury and lead sulfide. Today only we have discussed first, our first topic is this one only, chemical properties of ozone. Just go through this. Next, what is the tailing of mercury, how it is removed. So this is also we have discussed children. Ozone when reacts with the mercury, it loses its minuscus, that is called because of the formation of Hg2O, it sticks to the container walls, so that is called as tailing of mercury. So how it is removed, just simply adding water, shaking it with water, then what happens, so it can able to regain its minuscus. So why is H2O is liquid while H2S is a gas? Because H2O, in H2O, hydrogen bonds are present, whereas in case of H2S, hydrogen bonds are not present because oxygen is more electronegative when compared with the sulfur. So in H2O molecule, hydrogen bonds are present. Because of that, H2O is a liquid at room temperature, whereas H2S is a gas. All these things we have discussed. Just go through these important questions. You practice these important questions. I hope you have understood well, children. So let us see what we have discussed. Sulfur allotropic forms, sulfur dioxide preparation, properties, structure and uses we have discussed. And oxo acids of sulfur in that sulfuric acid preparation by contact process, and properties, uses we have seen, children. Okay, so all the best, children. I hope you have understood. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am.
Thank
Indeed,
you.
it was a very clear explanation regarding the 16th group elements.
Thank
See,
you.
I sincerely thank all your efforts for making this webinar a wonderful one.
Thank
And I hope each and every student is able to understand your lessons, and they are following the YouTube channel and they are writing the notes properly. Dear children, here I want to mention you one thing. Say regarding the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. See, you have already studied this under the application of Le Chatelier's principle in your first year, isn't it? See, in chemical equilibrium, you have learned this application of Le Chatelier's principle to Haber's process and also for contact process. And now, dear children, it's the time for the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. So please learn these topics thoroughly, children, and then I wish you all the best for your success. So thank you, Madhvi ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.